Let's talk about using the graphing calculator to graph a system of linear inequalities in two variables. Now, as you know, linear inequality in two variables is going to give you a line. It may be a dotted line sometimes, and we shade above or below. What you're going to see, what you need to refer to is Appendix E for some details of how to put that in the graphing calculator and interpret everything. One of the things that I want to expand on from that appendix is this. When you put in one of your functions, let's say you're thinking of y1 is greater than x minus 3, something like that, where you would put in the x minus 3, where you can't put this symbol here. It's going to say equal. But let me show you how to effectively make it say greater than or less than. Let's start with greater than. What that appendix is going to tell you to do is move your cursor over here with your left arrow until you get a symbol like this. And you have to hit the enter key to toggle through the different symbols that it can give you here. That's the one for less than. Let's put in the one for greater than. You're going to get this symbol here. Now let me draw that a little bigger. Now what that looks like is a line. It looks like a line that's been shaded above. This is all dark for this little symbol here, that little icon. Now that would suggest shading above something is greater than. So that effectively makes this greater than. It won't put that symbol here, but that's what it effectively makes it, and you can think of it that way. If you hit enter again, it will toggle and it will give you this little symbol here, and let me expand that. That looks like a line that's been shaded below, and that in effect makes this less than, and it will actually shade on the calculator above or below accordingly. Now, one of the things you're going to run into when you're going to be asked to do these problems on the graphing calculator, some of the lines are vertical. Technically, it is not possible to draw a vertical line on the calculator, but you can fool it. You can trick it into doing effectively what is a vertical line. And let me show you how to do that. Let's start our discussion here with this form of a line. This is known as the point slope form because it has a point, obviously the point x sub 1, y sub 1, and it has m the slope, the point slope form. Now let's think about it. If we have a line going through the x-axis here at 5, and we want to graph that vertical line, what we need to think about is what point is this. That's the xy point, x1, y1 point that we're going to put right in here. Now the fly in the ointment here is this. That slope is infinite, and you cannot put in an infinite number here. You have to put in some finite number. But what we can do is this. Now what's this little trick? We're going to put this in for 0, which effectively means we can just ignore it there since it's 0. And we have a slope. Let's give ourselves some room here. We'll put something in for the slope in just a moment. Let's go ahead and put this point in, minus 5. Now what we need is infinity for the slope. And what we're going to do instead is put in a very, very big number for the slope. So let's put in a number like 99999. You can put in 8 or 10 9, something like that. Put in a bunch of them. Now what that'll do, that'll draw a line that is almost vertical. And the more 9s you put in, the more vertical it'll look. In fact, when you look at it on the calculator, you're going to swear it's a vertical line. Let's make a variation on that. Let's put a minus in. Now I'm going to tell you why we're going to put in the minus. If you put in the minus and you've put this in for y1, remember those little symbols I showed you a moment ago? Like this one means that you would shade below, and it effectively turns this into a less than. Now for a normal line, it looks like this. The less than would make it shade below. But for a vertical line, it needs to be smart enough to shade to the left or the right properly. If you've made this slope negative, it will properly shade to the left. So I would suggest that when you're doing your vertical lines, is always put in a negative slope there, a very large negative slope. And it will, when you see this on the calculator, this is what you're going to see. Here's your calculator window. Here's your axes that it draws for you. You're going to see a line over here at 5, and it's going to shade this over here, less than, when you've done it this way. Of course, if you put this symbol in, if you put this symbol here in, it will shade to the right of this position of 5. Now, if you'll refer to Appendix B in the calculator appendices, it goes into much more detail of this, and it actually shows you a demonstration of this on the calculator. But that's a neat trick to know, is how to make it, in effect, draw a vertical line.